So Jason, this is the question I ask every single one of my guests that I have on. When you wake up in the morning today in your life, today, what is it that truly just makes your heart just sing out loud for the day that's ahead of you?
Yeah, I would say literally just the gift of giving. I was kind of raised and brought up that way that you always give back to others and wherever you can be of service. That's kind of our purpose here, in this world, right? Is to kind of be of service to others, kind of look outside yourself a little bit. That kind of like in the not knowing what's going to happen, the unexpectation of the day. If you live that way, that's what happens, right? Uncertainty doesn't become so kind of like scarce, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the uncertainty of just giving back and seeing what's to come.
Awesome. Yeah. Giving back, I had a real deep conversation recently with a close friend about that on a football Sunday, actually, while we were watching the game.
Yeah.
What kind of things are you doing right now to give back your time, or your energy, your money, or whatever you're doing?
Yeah, so I usually try to donate every monthly to certain organizations. Also, I gear a lot of my classes around to an organization, whether it's like a NAMI, which is a mental health wellness organization. They're nationwide, but they have certain subsets in different cities. So whether it's like that, children's charities, schools, donating books, wherever I can help out. It's kind of like, I'll donate time for that. No matter what's going on, it's kind of like part of my mission statement is to like give back, whether it's monthly, quarterly, each year. So
Yeah. Well, you seem like you're younger, right? Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
how old do you think I
I
am?
honestly, I don't want to even throw a number out there. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
So I'm 41.
Oh wow, you have like a baby face, man. I mean, I do too. So I like you
Yeah,
look a lot. Not that that's old, but yeah, it's old. I'm
yeah,
36. But
yeah.
the reason I asked that, Jason, is because like, I mean, I guess like was this innately in you? Because this is something I'm always curious about, right? Especially as like a male. I, I find that a lot of my friends, especially growing up, especially younger, were innately very selfish, right? We
Mm,
never really wanted to give back and volunteer and do these things. We were just out for ourselves. I need to get mine, and then eventually I'll do that stuff. And
yeah.
that was always mentality for so long. Was this something you were raised with, or did you cultivate it? Like, curious.
Yeah, no, I think that's something I was raised with, right? So my parents were super big into that. Came from a kind of a certain or super Christian background. So that was kind of always of service, stewardship was always there. So
Mhm.
that was kind of from day one. And then I think just kind of partly the era I was raised up in was not necessarily want to say selfish, not selfish, but it was more community driven. Like it was always about, collaborating with others and being like team and that kind of thing. Sports growing up, so I think it's always you kind of start to look not just about yourself. So
Yeah, yeah. Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Baltimore, but the subset of Baltimore outside of that, so Bel Air. So super small, kind of like a small town.
Yeah.
But I played sport, all like team sports, basketball, soccer, all that stuff growing up. So
Cool, cool. So where was the transition that got you into meditation, yoga, fitness? Like what did like, and you became a leader in that subject, right? Or
uh,
a face in that particular area. What was that transition like? What happened there?
so for me, I found yoga, I would say around 2013 is when I got more active in it. Um, and I just knew there was something more to yoga than just doing the poses and things like that. So um, that kind of was my transition to meditation from yoga, probably like a lot of
Mm,
people. Um, but also like then like I was in a kind of like coming out of a relationship, so I saw like some benefits from that to starting yoga, getting in meditation. That's when I saw like kind of all the good things started to happen, like from like kind of shifting your mindset of that into wanting to learn more about, okay, it's not just lifting weights and being fitness and that kind of thing. There's more of this mindset of mindfulness, right? And I knew it started working in my life, so that's where I wanted to learn more about it and be able to share it with clients and other people.
Cool. Yeah. So it's interesting because I've had 50 guests at least,
Mm-hmm.
right? Experts in different areas. And I haven't you don't find it often that like fitness expert and meditation pushing both. It's interesting to see that. And that's why I wanted to reach out to you and be like, okay, that's really cool. Like for me, I have a personal trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a teacher on Insight Timer for meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. I get that. And I love that. I'm curious to ask you. So let's say I wake up tomorrow and I have 20 minutes. I just tell myself I have 20 minutes. I can't work out and I can't meditate. What would you tell that person that has, what one should they do?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say, man, any type of movement, like whether it's just stretching, for me is kind of like you can kind of get into that meditative state. Doesn't have to necessarily have to be like a yoga or Pilates or anything like that, but I think just doing some stretches on the floor for 20 minutes. Whether it's doing hip mobility, hamstrings, total body movement, whatever that may be. Even if it's going for a walk, just getting out, like some type of movement that whatever you can do, just do it. Because it all you'll see that shift right in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Just from moving. So I would say just move somehow, some way, some shape, some form.
Yeah, actually, I like that kind of like just like stretching in some way while you're sort of concentrating on the breath. Doesn't have to necessarily be called yoga,
Yeah.
but right. But like doing that mindfully, stretching mindfully almost, right? Kind of an
Yeah.
idea.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That makes
Or
that makes total sense.
yeah, or foam rolling, anything like that. Anything that kind of is going to feel good in your body.
Yeah. I picked up foam rolling a couple years ago and I
Uh-huh.
have like 3 foam just in all of my rooms. I have a foam roller in case
Yeah. Yeah.
it feels so good to do it
Uh-huh.
on my all over.
Yeah.
Highly recommend anybody that I don't know if that's ever come up on the podcast, but what's your like top 2 foam rolling moves or whatever you want to call it that you like to do?
Yeah, mine right now, I would say hip flexors. So like just rolling out hip flexors, like TFL type stuff. Because that's like one of the go-to, like if you want to get the quads into your lower back, and just get mobility in the hips, right? So that's probably my number one. And then anything you can do with like traps, upper neck is always good to release.
Mm.
So that's probably my two areas I would go to
When you
first.
say hip flexors, are you like do you put the actual roller like on your pelvic area and roll like the muscles right there?
So you lie on it, right? So you
Yeah.
lie kind of like where your pocket line lines up onto
Okay.
a roller and kind of up and down, side to side a little bit, hold it, and then it's kind of like breathe.
It's
You
tender in
find
that
that
area.
yeah, it's very tender. Yeah, it's like a hurt so good
Yeah,
type
it's
thing.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Cool. So what does your practice look like right now? Your meditation practice?
Right now, so it's every morning. I usually start around, let's see, I try 6 o'clock a.m., a little bit before that. Right now, just silent. I just kind of I go into a room, sit, I have my special chair, and I sit there and it is kind of allow my thoughts to go until they kind of like, chill out a little bit. And then it's crazy. Like I always tell people with meditation, like you lose time, right? You
Mm.
kind of like come up, you're like, oh, I don't know what time it is. And I just kind of let the clock go. So I use Insight Timer every morning. And I just put the clock on and go. So I'm not too much guided right now, but it's just very just simple.
So if
Sit
it's not
there.
guided, what is it? What is it then? What are you doing? I like that.
It's just I sit,
Yeah.
get as comfortable as I can want to get as comfortable. Lean back, close my eyes, and sometimes it's some breath. Sometimes it's some Reiki. It kind of varies from day to day. Try to end with some gratitude and and things like that. So yeah.
Well, Jason, so here's here's the thing, like for us, right? It's easy to say like, I throw some gratitude in there. I do a little Reiki. I do a little,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We understand that, right?
yeah, yeah.
But the number one question I get as a meditation teacher and
Mhm.
person that talks about it a lot is, what can I do when I just want to like, just do it every day, but I don't want to press play on an app or something? Like, what specifically are you doing? Are you counting to 10? Are you, what are you specifically doing when you close your eyes? Are you just
Yeah.
blanketing your breath? Can you tell us?
Yeah, yeah. So like in the beginning, usually it's breath. So just kind of bring your focus, your awareness to your breath, right? Just notice it, all that, and then it's deep breaths. So maybe there's three inhales and exhales, right? Just very deep. And then sometimes we'll get into a little bit more breath work. So it might be like like a really short inhale and then a really really long like 7 count exhale, something like that. Just to kind of really calm my central nervous system. And then also it's weird because it kind of wakes you up too at the same time. So I keep it that short as far as the inhales. And then that's kind of like it. Sometimes I will just allow, and when I teach meditation to people, I allow my thoughts to just go until they kind of do just start to tear down, because your
Yeah.
body and your mind has that innate act to do that, like
Right.
automatically, right? So, and that's what, I was just having that conversation with someone yesterday, that kind of giving people that allowance to think, right? Because what people think meditation is, I can't not think, right? So allowing yourself to think for the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because then you'll notice that it's not so many thoughts and maybe just one or two thoughts come in. So,
Right. Yeah. And then hopefully like erase that judgment around it, right? When you're just
yep,
allowing
yeah,
yourself to do it. That
yep,
makes sense.
yeah.
Um, so, okay. So tomorrow, this is going to shift topics a little bit here. Okay. Or
Okay.
not topics, but different shift subjects. Tomorrow I have a meeting with an individual that, so locally we have a place called Yoga for Good Hood,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she helps, she's a person of color, and she helps try to find more people of color to get into mindfulness, because
Mm-hmm.
let's face it, I mean, let's be honest, right? And I'm meeting with her to figure out how I can help and do more in that field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's face it, I graduated back in May with a class, and it was from a wealthier area, but whatever. It was a class of like 30 people, and it was all, every single person there was white, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people that I reach out to for my podcast, like I feel like I'm coming across more, and maybe that's just because who I follow and stuff, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to bring more people of color into mindfulness meditation, and I have a friend that works with inner city kids that I'm reaching out to figure out how we can do that too. I can teach some free classes or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What do you suggest? Like, what do you, are you doing anything like that, or what do you suggest for people that are in, on that level trying to do that? What can we do? Do you have an answer for that?
So as you're looking as yourself as a white person, is that where you're
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah. So one, it's education, right? So it is like finding more people, more Black people, people of color, what have you, to either talk to educate yourself around, to ask questions like this, which is great, and find out organizations that actually do that and support that, right? That are of color or Black. So, for example, here in Baltimore, and we have a Holistic Life Foundation, and they're actually kind of worldwide or nationwide, but they're from here, and they kind of get mindfulness into schools, especially like inner city schools.
mm,
So I would say do your homework on that, and find out what kind of bodies or organizations of color that are doing that now, because they're out there, and it's just more or less getting the exposure, right?
yeah,
So that people of color who don't see this see more people of color doing it, right?
yeah.
So for you, I would just keep educating yourself, reaching out to people like Watkins, who's a great person to follow.
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
like
Say that again.
Light Watkins.
Okay.
He's like kind of my meditation, like I won't say guru, but like a guy I follow and learn from. Great
Yeah, like a
guy.
mentor, right? Almost
Yeah,
kind of
my
like
mentor.
a,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like my mentor. He's another great meditation teacher. He does a lot. You'll see him on Instagram. Super nice guy.
Cool.
Who else? Any yoga teachers of color, who are doing because most yoga teachers are doing some type of mindfulness. Spiritual Fly, she's in DC. That's her Instagram handle, Spiritual Fly. She's really great. Who else? I would just keep doing that. I keep reaching out, and learning. And then I think you'll start to gather more of like how you can help and spread the word and get it out to more communities for people to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes I have I don't know, like an imposter syndrome where I feel like, is this even my place to even do that? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's a fair feeling to have or what. I just, I don't know.
No, I think for you, I mean, just do it. You don't have to think so much about it.
Right.
And don't necessarily have to broadcast it. Right.
Right.
So if you're like just doing it and like, oh yeah, I know this person, and you connect this person, and and then you're starting to connect more people outside of just your own town to people of color who are meditating, doing yoga, doing whatever.
Yeah.
It's educating, and now like more and more people will start to see it, so you don't have to like make it. So I'm one of those more behind the scene guys. I'm not of like, oh, look at me, here's what I'm doing. I'd rather just do it, and then and then I know for me that's good enough.
Okay. Yeah.
And same for you. Like, it sounds like you're kind of a little bit that way. Like, well, what should I do? And just anything's going to be better than nothing, right? So
right. Cool. And I think a lot of people listening to, because I've had this conversation come up probably 5 or 6 times. It's come up where it's like, yes, it's missing. Like we need more of that. Yes. And no one really has like an answer or what, or it starts getting uncomfortable, the conversation. And and so I wanted to ask you that, as someone who's in obviously Black and in touch with trying to be a leader in that field, of mindfulness.
No, I appreciate it.
So,
no.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing, Jason. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So what are you working on right now that you want people to know about, that you're trying to share, even sell if there's a program or something? I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, right now I'm working on a 4th book for kids. So it's the series is Adventures of Frankie Fitness. So this one is a Pilates book. So it's I'm a Pilates instructor as well. So it's the Adventures of Frankie Fitness, Franke Does Pilates. So that's the 4th book in the series. So the first 3 kind of cover. First one was fitness, went to nutrition, then we did the meditation. Oh, cool. And I said, that's it. I'm not doing any more books. And then this year kind of happened, right? So I got inspired to do another one. So it's kind of, and what's great about the books, it's for everyone, but it's great to kind of bring this, modality of Pilates to people or kids of color who don't know about it, right? Yeah. And it shows that, fitness, Pilates is for everyone, not just for affluent areas. You have to be rich or white or certain background, but you can do it, right? So that's kind of what's the next project. So we're almost done that. So it should be out within the next month. So really looking forward to that.
Is that an illustrated book? Like I'm not familiar and look into these.
Yeah. So it's illustrated. It's black and white, which is cool because kids can color it. So it kind of has that aspect to it, or you can also and there's exercises in the back that the kids can do, so parents can do it with their kids. So every book has that part to it. So it's a storyline book. They can color it. They can do the exercises in the back. So it's kind of gives a lot of informational tools as well as just like makes it interactive,
Nice.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a 5-year-old daughter, 5.5, 2.5-year-old son. I'm going to grab some of those books and do them. That's awesome. I didn't even know that. It's really cool, man. That's And you get the kids younger, right? So like, they like, you get these mindsets, you get their mindset right early, or try to at least, right? I mean,
that's it. Yeah, that's the plan.
Because I found meditation like 2 years ago, right? Like really like into it, like a lot and daily. And I used to tell myself like, man, why did I not know about this? Why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
nobody around me did it. Like, literally, I looked around when I first started, and I didn't have one friend or person that
That's
meditated.
it. Right.
And so so finding it changed my life. And I was like, damn, I wish I knew about this like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've now let that go, of course, and realized that it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
But so that's so cool at a young age that you're doing that, and more people that can impact lives like that. It's amazing. Just want to kudos to you for doing that,
No,
Jason.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. So the book, and you said that's coming up in finishing and coming up in a couple months. Was that what you said?
November 1st, it should be done. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Amazon,
Yeah.
anywhere like that. I'll put a
Yeah.
link in the
When I try
notes.
to get on Amazon, you get through my site, charmcitypt.com. Yeah, so you can get it all on there too.
All right.
Yeah.
So Pilates,
Yep.
yoga. Are you like a
No,
certified yoga
I
teacher?
don't. Nope. Leave that to the professionals. I don't do
Okay.
yoga.
So when I
No.
like scroll through your Instagram, it's Pilates that you're doing. It's not even the
Yeah.
yoga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't. I leave that to the professional yoga guy. All the Sanskrit and all that is them.
Yeah, I actually David G, like your mentor was Light Watkins, right?
Yeah.
And mine's David G, and he is
Uh-huh.
big into Sanskrit. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he taught me a lot of Sanskrit. It's really cool once you start diving into it. And,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. For
using, you ever
sure.
use Sanskrit mantras in your meditations?
Yeah. Every once in a while. Yeah. When I first learned, that was kind of one of the big meditation mantras of Sanskrit, and I've learned a few others since then. But yeah, it is cool. Like the sounds of just the sounds or and the rums and all that stuff is like
Right.
pretty cool, and like it kind of does put you in a certain state, which is nice.
Yeah,
Um,
when you said that, it reminded me of Om Moksha Ratum, because you said the
yeah,
and the
yep,
Om. Yeah,
yep,
that's a
yeah.
popular
It
one.
all like switches. Yeah, yeah, yep.
That's cool. So, where do you, are you in, or do you still, where do you live right now?
I'm in Baltimore.
Oh, you're still in Baltimore. Okay,
Yeah, in the
cool.
city. Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm in Rochester, New York.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So we get bombarded. We're about to have our wet and rainy and snow season coming up soon, which is really fun during COVID. How have you,
Uh,
how have you, um, kept your mind right during these times that we're in with COVID specifically? Like, are you doing anything different than you normally did in the past, or just kind of staying the course?
yeah. I would say in the beginning, it was a lot of educational stuff. I was like learning more and creating more, I guess you could say, and still doing that. But I think that's been the two things while we have the time to do it is that right now. So more education, just learning, sharpening your tools and your
Mm,
craft and being super creative, right? And doing stuff like this
yeah,
and having the time to do stuff like this, which is pretty cool.
sweet.
So I think that's kind of what people need to do right now to kind of like keep a little bit of sanity and not escape the minute day of or weeks or whatever of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Do you, oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't
no,
mean
go
to
ahead, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you consider yourself, because for what you do and writing books and your business, an entrepreneur? Business, I guess business
Yeah,
owner,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess so. You can say that. Yeah, yeah.
Are you doubling down, like during these times? Are you doubling down on your main source of income when you say create content, or are you expanding your avenues? I guess you can say.
Both, right?
Yeah.
So it's creating more content and expanding avenues, right? So it's um, like I do group classes as well. So that was like when COVID first hit, I immediately started taping all my group classes that I was doing online to build the library,
Mm,
right? So, which was great. So now I don't have to do so much filming for classes because I did so many through mid-March, April, May, into June a little bit. So now that when I do live classes, I can just focus more on the live classes and kind of gearing up. So you have to do a little bit of pre-planning, right, for wintertime because obviously COVID's not going away probably within the next 7, 8, 9 months.
yeah.
So and it's going to get colder, and people are going to want different things to do. So you have to kind of start thinking outside the box a little bit in terms of like creating content, whether it's meditation videos, fitness videos, you know, reaching out to brands. I feel like people are like more accepting right now, right? You know, they're willing to like do a podcast or do an interview or do some stuff with the brand or reach out to a brand. The brand might say yes because they need more content, right? So, or they need some more people on their page or on their platform. So it's stuff like that. And then writing books, you know, it was just like, all right, let's do it because I have the time to do it, right? You know, so yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of doing your normal day-to-day as a trainer, but now you have time to kind of dedicate to certain other projects that are on the side, right?
Yeah,
so
that's cool. It's creating. I was going to ask you a question related to that, and then it just drifted out of my head here.
it'll come back.
So, like, if there's a main message that you're trying to get, because kids are a big focus of yours, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a main message that you want to tell the younger generation of kids, what is it that you're trying to get across mainly? Like, if you really had one core topic or
Yeah, I would say, you know, through writing the books and stuff like that, I would say like just some type of mindful movement is the thing I'm trying to get across to kids.
yeah.
You know, it's again like we were talking about earlier, like you hope they take something away, right? Whether it's something nutritionally or fitness related or meditative or Pilates or yoga or anything like that. So it's and hopefully they build upon on one of those aspects, you know, and they can use that in certain parts of their lives, whether it's school, sports, you know, their relationships with whoever, other friends, family members. So you just hope that's kind of I guess I would say my thing with kids is take something away. I don't, you know, care what it is, as long as it's
Right.
something positive, you know, positive, being grateful, and that's kind of it, you know.
Yeah, when you say that, it makes me think, like, you know, a lot of things we tell kids go in one ear out the other unless they want to hear it or want to.
Yeah.
So when you say when you're actually saying do some mindful movement, it actually gives them something tangible to do
Mm-hmm.
that allows them to have results that they probably never would even notice, right? That are just
Yeah.
occurring, whether
Yeah.
it's better energy, more positive
Yeah.
outlook, healthier perspective on life, whatever it is,
Yeah.
actually having that tangible. And I actually, I talk about that often is when I read books, I love books that have something tangible I can take away from it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do this instead. I don't want someone just to preach at me and tell me.
Yeah.
I want to say, okay, what can I do to absorb this? What can I do to, you know,
Yep.
manifest it, I guess, because so much of, you know, there's a lot of people out there that'll just read, wish, hope, but never take any action.
Right. Right. And
And
that's it.
when you teach people movements, that's action and that's doing something. And I think that that's more powerful than just words, which is really cool.
Yeah.
What
It's
is,
almost like,
what, go ahead. Yeah, keep going.
yeah, it's almost like you have to always like say this, you have to like Mr. Miyagi kids, right? You have to kind of teach them things without them being known they're being teachers, even adults, right? So you have to kind of like wax on, wax off to learn the karate, right?
Mm,
Like you have to kind of sneak those little things in there. Like you said, they may not listen to the parents, but you know, they'll listen to someone, you know. And
right.
that's what made me write the books, is because I realized that the kids were, you know, I started training, it was like with kids. And I realized they didn't want to listen to mom and dad, but they will listen to you because you're not their mom and dad, right? So they might follow, you know, a certain thing you teach them just because, yeah, it's like, oh, and then they take that with them. Then they say, oh, that's what mom and dad was, you know, teaching me, you know, like,
Right.
or wanting them to know, you know, like, so. But it's like you have to kind of sneak it in there a little bit. However, and that's the creative side of it, right? You know, for
Yeah.
parents is to kind of like sneak it in where they can, you know.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, we were all kids once, so we know
Yeah.
we'll learn something, and then our parents will go, "I told you that a year ago, and you didn't
Yeah, I
listen."
know, right?
Like,
Yep,
well, it's because you
yep.
said it, mom. Not
Yeah, right. You weren't right then. You know?
so now I'll listen. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So, but it's so true. It's
yeah.
just truth. Uh, um, I almost was going to go into being a parent, but I won't go into that subject. I was just on a parenting podcast, a dad
Uh-huh.
podcast, which was really cool. This guy that's like trying to showed
Yeah.
that. But then it just reminded me of a lot of the stuff we talked about on that. So where can we go from here, Jason? We've shared a lot of information. Oh, this is the question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Like like Pilates, what exactly, I mean, I see these classes. My old gym had it in there. I feel like there was like machines you needed to use. Like what is
Yeah.
it and what does it do? Like, let's explain that a little bit more for
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So Pilates, it's Joseph Pilates is the guy who created Pilates. So it's kind of like 6 different concepts. It's kind of like it is very mirroring to yoga in that way because it has the concepts like the 8 limbs of yoga. There's the 6 concepts of Pilates. So and they all deal with breath. So it's think like stretching, lengthening, posture. I like to tell people it's a lot more rehab. So for example, a lot of the movements you can do, it's all mat exercises initially. So it's like 30 mat exercises you can do. So you don't necessarily need equipment. You don't need the reformer, which is the machines you were talking about and all that stuff. So it's like 30 exercises. You can do them in a certain, order or not. But yeah, I mean, it's just to kind of restructure your body, right? In terms of like your posture, how you sit, how you walk, being more mindful of kind of like your proprioception, like what's around you. I would say it's kind of like what's great about it is if you're injured, if you're hurt, if you're not feeling well, if you're overweight, you can get down on the mat and do Pilates. And it's a little less intimidating, I think, because you see yoga, you see all the cool poses with yoga. You're like, oh, I'm not standing on my head. I'm not doing that. I'm not, and Pilates is like none of that, right? It's just more or less, okay, I can get down on the mat and do leg circles, that's,
Okay.
and still work, and so I think that's what's great, what I love about it. And in terms of longevity, if you're older, you can always continue to do it.
Are you finding yourself Are you sweating afterwards?
Yeah, you can sweat. Yeah. Now, I would say it's a weight loss thing. You're not going to lose a lot of weight doing Pilates. Have people done it? Yes, but primarily you're not going to. But yeah, if you have back issues, it's great. A lot of great stretches, strengthening, the stabilizing muscles around the hip for your back and things like that. It's great to help out with your yoga in terms of balancing poses and stuff like that. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I love it. The machines are kind of built to help with the mat exercises. So when you see all those machines, it's kind of like they're harder too. Like you can do hard, obviously, stuff on them, and people have built some great programs off of that and exercises off of that. But it's primarily the mat stuff. So that's what Pilates is in a nutshell, I guess.
Yeah. And is there like do you guys, is there promoted? I know like there's stretch. You said there's 6 limbs, or kind of an idea, right? Is mindfulness promoted as part of it? Or like centering or anything, or
yes,
present moment?
yeah. So that is one of the concepts of centering. So it's breath, concentration, coordination, centering, flow, and precision. So
That was
those
a
are
wild guess. That's really weird that's
see,
that
yeah,
word centering. I had no idea.
right. It's like you got sent to you somehow, right? But yeah, like so that's kind
Okay.
of So there's a lot of it can be very meticulous at times, like with it. So it's almost like you're so focused, you're being centered, you're concentrating, which is one of the limbs, and you're focusing on your breath that you almost don't have time to think about anything else. Right,
Okay.
like you almost don't have time to think about the past or the future. Right, you have to be
Right.
in the moment of the exercises. So, yeah.
Neat. And how long does this session last for?
So mat classes can be 30 minutes,
Okay.
but you can make them an hour. There's props and equipment you can use. Same with the bigger equipment like reformers and the Cadillac, which is like another big piece of equipment. So you can make them anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour.
I
So
mean, I'm literally like, okay, so if there's a level of 10 being the most expert in Pilates and 1 being just no idea, I'm like a 2. So
okay.
understand when I'm asking these
Yeah,
questions,
yeah.
that's where
No,
they're
no, no.
coming from, Jason.
No, that's cool. No.
And you
You gotta
probably,
learn.
yeah, exactly. So so like when you're, and I know that's probably the case for a lot of other people too. There's people that know it, people that don't, right?
Yeah.
just like any subject. So when you're practicing this, first off, where can we find you for your live classes for people that want to try this?
Oh yeah, so it's charmcitypt.com.
Okay.
So if you go to group classes, you can just book a class I teach on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. They're all 30-minute classes. The class on Saturday is more Pilates based, so it's like Pilates and Barre, kind of infused in one. The other ones are more like fitness oriented classes. So, and we've added some yoga classes as well with some other instructors, so which will be fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we've
Building a
got,
little empire here.
yeah. So yeah, kind of building like a little, like I said, gearing up for the winter time. So yeah, so you can find me there. If you want to do any meditation or one-on-one training virtually, you can do that too as well. So yeah, so you can just like find me, and all the info's on there.
Awesome. So what's your business model right now? Like, what is it? Is there like a membership? This is just a curious question as an
Yeah,
entrepreneur. I have an internet marketing business,
yeah,
and a couple other things that I do. So I'm just curious, what is your
yeah.
typical?
So we have drop-in, and we're doing membership.
Okay.
So membership gets you all the classes, and it gets you all like over 35 pre-recorded classes, right? So
Oh yeah. Nice.
so you have those. You can do it anytime, which is cool. So you get access to all that. You get access to the videos, the live classes, and me. So if for consultation and stuff like that. So that's like the kind of, I think, one thing that separates it from like doing a lot of the other stuff is just you're just doing classes, right? And there's no one there really guiding you necessarily in terms of like a one-on-one aspect. So like, hey, I've done this, what should I do next? Or I've done this workout, what should I do this week? You can shoot me a message. And I'm like, hey, try doing this, or let's meet, let's talk about where you want to go from here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so much. There's so much I don't want to say noise out there, but so many people out there, right,
yeah,
that are trying to show how to do this stretch in this class and this fitness and this HIIT class and this, but for what you're doing is you're giving people access to go deep with you, right? So like
yeah,
direct connection, direct
yeah,
contact, direct response, and that's like so much more powerful than
yeah,
just kind of spreading all over the place too fast. I love that.
yeah.
So okay, what does Jason Williams do for fun?
For fun. Meditation's not fun.
No, I love it. I look for when I wake up, this is
Yeah,
no exaggeration. When I go to bed, I'm like, I cannot wait to get up and put
yeah,
in, between 15, 20 minutes and just sit there. It is hands down
yeah.
like the highlight of my first half of my day. So
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I think it's, kind of like anybody else, like, it's movies, it's travel. I wish you could travel more right now, but you can't really,
right.
concerts, going out to dinner with friends. Love dancing. Dancing's fun. It's another go-to of mine. Yeah, music, all that stuff, writing is always fun. Like anything like that, like creative for me is always pretty pretty good for me. I don't have to do much more. Yeah. I like simplicities of, I love cooking. Cooking, picked that up over the last few years. It's kind of one of my jams. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was following David Goggins.
No,
Oh, okay. Never. Well, I'll just take 1 minute here then with that. But
yeah.
he's ex-Navy SEAL,
Uh-huh.
just an absolute animal, like mentally, right? Just straight
Oh,
beast
is he the guy
mode.
that like always runs?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, yeah. All right, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know my name, but yeah.
Yeah, he's got a fiance, and I don't know why it just reminded me of this our conversation, but but he literally doesn't like barely does anything for fun. His fiance put a
Yeah.
post, well, because his fiance put a post up. He stretches for 3 hours. He
Oh, man.
he works out for 3 hours a day. He runs for 2 hours a day, and that's like his whole entire day. And then he eats
Yeah.
in between, and does nothing. Like literally, she's like, he doesn't. That's it, just
That's
every
it.
day. But he loves it. Like he just
Right.
like it
Yep.
is like, and I can tell that what you do is like that's what I do for fun. Like that's what I love to do, and
Right. Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
cool. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
it is. Yeah, it is. It's a weird kind of kind of thing. Like you're like you get, I don't want to say regimented, but this is what you do. But you like doing those things. You
Yeah,
like, I like get up in the morning, like put on my meditation, and you start do your coffee, and then it's train. Then it's workout, then it's and you kind of repeat. And that's what you do, so,
Yeah. And
um,
when you, and like yesterday, I don't know if you watched the debate. Did you watch the debate?
I didn't because, I mean, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, like
Like,
I think I got dumber after watching it, to be
yeah, it
honest.
was like
Like it
one of those
was
things, like, it's like
ridiculous.
watching a Housewives show. Like,
Yeah,
after a while, you're like, I really don't want to watch this anymore. Like, so I was like, I'm not even gonna watch because I already know what's gonna happen. Like, I'm not gonna be happy afterwards, or like,
yeah. And I had to have a drink while I'm and I barely drink, right? So I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
here's a bourbon. Haven't
yeah,
had it. Can't tell you the last time I had one. So,
yeah.
and I felt like crap today after having that drink
Right.
and watching that go down. And I'm just like, that wasn't fun. Like
Yeah,
I thought maybe this might be a little fun having a drink and watching it.
yeah,
It wasn't. And I have more
yeah,
fun not drinking and
yeah. Catch the
doing the normal
highlights.
thing.
Like catch the highlights next day. It's gonna be on. So I was like, I'll just catch the highlights. I'm sure
Yeah, yeah.
it'll come up.
I think that'll be number two and number three for me when they debate two more times.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds a much healthier way to do it, Jason. So I like
yeah, yeah.
that. Where's your favorite place to be and why?
Favorite place? That's a good question. I love beach. I think in terms of visiting that, I like the sound of ocean and water, and warmth. As I get older, I don't like cold. It's like, all right, I'm trying to like get away from the cold and like go south, I think. Um,
Hmm.
I do. I've been to Europe a couple times, so I do like Italy. Italy is kind of like a really cool vibe there. Because I like food, I like that kind of that aspect of it, and just simplicity. So for me, it's like anywhere that's like kind of just super simple is good. I don't need a lot of external things, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about? You said the beach and the water, and it made me think about like what is it like when you go on a trip somewhere, a vacation,
Hmm.
whatever it is, and it's near the water. Like everybody seems so happy and like
Yeah.
in good spirits, and their energy's strong. And like, what is it about being near water? You think that it creates that? You ever notice that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just yeah. I mean, it's the flow. It's like life is. It's a little more fluid that way. You don't have to think so much, and it's calming at the same time, energizing. At the same way.
Yeah,
It's like you can kind of relax, but you're having fun doing all these other things too. And you can be outside, and it's not cold and put a lot of clothes on. You don't have to get ready to do anything. You just kind of can just be, a little bit more. I think maybe that's why the beaches, or anywhere like that is nice.
yeah. You can just be like you said.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Just be. Just nothing
yeah,
to really do except watch the waves and just
yeah,
hang out.
yeah,
Yeah, and the energy, like you said, the energy from it is probably
yeah.
something we don't even realize is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh, huh, cool,
Where's your
cool.
favorite spot?
No one, I don't know. I've never been flipped around and asked that question before.
You
No,
gotta think that.
right now, like, okay, so right now, during the past 8 months, my favorite spot I created a space in my house for breathing, being quiet, meditating.
Uh-huh.
And I have like a little Buddha there, and I have some crystals, and
Yep.
and I have a picture that I like, and it says inhale, exhale. So it's like it's a spot. I have my
Yeah.
and I just love to go there. Like if I'm getting frustrated with my kids or whatever, I'll just walk away, go down there.
Yeah.
I bought a little singing bowl.
Yeah.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun. You have
Yep.
one of
Yep.
those by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
got
I'll
one. Yeah.
I'll play that. So yeah, that's right now. That's what as my spot. It used to be honestly a nice gym that I belonged to before COVID. Uh,
Yeah.
it had a restaurant, it had all this stuff in there, and I used to go there as my place. It was very
Yeah.
calming, very relaxing place. Um, but like the thing is you got to realize, like in Rochester, New York, uh,
Uh.
8 months of the year is indoors. 9 months.
Yeah. Oh.
So a
Yeah. It's
lot of my
cold.
favorite places are inside.
Oh man. Yeah,
But
right.
there's nothing like a walk. We have, I don't know if you guys have a lot of parks, nature
Yeah, we have.
parks.
Yep. Hmm.
We have literally like dozens of them all over around here, and during the summer
Yeah.
and fall, they're just beautiful. So
Yeah.
actually, going there with my kids is some of my favorite things to do.
Yep.
To go, so much of my time is with my kids right now. It's
Yeah.
when you ask me that question, I'm like, okay, I like going here. I'm with my kids. I like going here. I'm also with my kids. Where am I not with my kids? In
Yeah.
a little space in the house downstairs and a gym.
Now they doing like this homeschool thing or the virtual thing? Are they going away or
Yeah,
what are they
well,
doing?
yeah, we just didn't want to deal with any. We had the means and the available. My wife's a stay-at-home mom, so we had the
Okay.
availability. I work from home to have my daughter. It would have been in kindergarten, but we're like, let's just homeschool her. So she homeschools,
Yeah.
uh, and my son is 2.5, so he wasn't going
Oh,
to
okay. There you go.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we decided to do that. And a lot of my daughter's friends that were going to be in school with her are still doing it's like a 2-day a week thing here that they do
Oh, okay. Okay.
instead of 5. But
Yeah.
we just opted out of that because it's kindergarten,
Yeah.
made it easier.
Yeah. No, that sounds a little better.
Yeah. I mean, my neighbors and stuff are in high school and I ask them all the time. They're like, it's just weird. It's just weird.
They don't like it.
I'm like, I don't like it. Or middle school.
Yeah.
It's just, they don't. But
It's weird. They don't like going to school,
no, it's even worse.
it's weird that like they miss going to school. I guess they actually miss going to school.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, what it is, Jason? I think it doesn't matter what age we are. It's just the social interaction we need.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And in Europe, I mean, like you said, you like going to Europe. I bet you that just the vibe of the people around and the energy you get from the social aspect of
Yeah.
things out there is a little bit different than what you're used to here.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Um,
course.
I mean, we crave that, and a lot of us are losing that right now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, let me ask you this: teaching Pilates on Zoom, there's no way it's as fulfilling and satisfying as being in person. Like, let's be honest, right?
Yeah, like being virtual, it's yeah, it's an adjustment, right? So it was it gets daunting at times, just doing one-on-ones and classes, through a screen. So like right now I'm about to split. I'm like I see some people in home,
Oh,
which
cool,
is
cool.
nice. Yeah, so that's good. So I do get some interaction with people. So but yeah, I mean I can't wait for a day we can go back outside, and go places and go to movies and restaurants and things like that, and just,
What are your, what's your what's your best day like? Like, as you say this, so, you wake up, what time would you wake up? What would you do? And then, what would go on? What would your best like full day be right now that would just all of a sudden
yeah,
like, man, this was a good day. Like this was exactly what I like.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, it's get up. I usually get up around like 5:30, meditate, relax. Have some coffee. First sessions around 9. Have like 3 or 4 sessions. Lunch. Afternoon, another like 2 sessions. Workout. Done. Cook dinner. Relax. Watch a movie at night. Chill out. And that's it. That's like the day, like where it's like not overwhelming and not a lot going on, in
Yeah.
terms of like extracurricular, I can just kind of just go on like automatic pilot, a little bit, and just not have to worry about some like other things. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
asked that because when you were talking about missing, the classes and stuff like that in person with more people, like my best days that just like everything kind of rolled off a lot better than most other days were when I got an early morning yoga practice in at my
yep,
favorite studio, my local studio,
yeah,
right? And just the day just seemed to roll just so
yeah,
much smoother, and I miss that, like I really do. So
uh-huh.
I've had to find other ways to do it, but yeah, there's just a total different energy when you're able to
Yeah, I
do it
miss
in
that
person.
too. I haven't done a yoga class since I can't remember, like in person, like I
Yeah.
don't remember with people, it's been
Yeah. And
like
even for me,
February.
virtual fell off, like
Yeah, I mean, it
virtual.
wasn't. Yeah, it's like I can't do that. Like I could teach it, but I can't do it. It's just weird. It's like
Yeah.
It's like, I guess because you're on the screen so much,
Yeah. That's probably, I mean, I work, yeah, actually, I never, shit, that's actually a great point. I work on the
Yeah.
screen all day from internet marketing. Like the last thing I
Yeah.
want to do is take a screen yoga class.
Yeah, right, right.
Oh, dang,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'd rather listen to one maybe.
Right.
But let me ask you here for a final question, Jason. You've been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you have today. I appreciate it, dropping wisdom and everything. What if you could go back as a 41-year-old now, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self and you can tell your 18-year-old self anything and they would listen, what would you say to them?
Oh, good question. I would say stay the course.
Stay.
Because for me, I think at that age, um, there, I was kind of already there, but you're just young. You're young and dumb a little bit. But I think luckily for me, I had good parents, and even like friends and surroundings were were good, where everybody was inclusive. Everybody was. It was more of a selflessness, a little more of a the giving, the sharing type time for me, I think. So it would be more like just stay the course, know yourself, and and keep kind of doing what you're doing. You know,
Don't
and I
let
think
those
that would be
outside
it.
influencers like bring you
Yeah,
down or change your
yeah,
direction because of,
yeah. Just keep
yeah,
doing what you're doing. Yeah, So I mean,
that's cool.
yeah, I think that'll be it.
Nice, nice. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing everything you have today, Jason. Thank you for
No,
taking
thanks for having
this.
me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks, Justin.
and yeah. All right, I'll stop this here.